PHI 209. You're welcome to study session 4, the nature of philosophy writing. In this study session, we will discuss writing in philosophy. In doing so, we will examine the various forms of philosophical writing. When you have studied this session, you should be able to 1. Discuss the importance of writing in philosophy. 2. Highlight the forms of philosophical writing. Philosophical writing. Philosophical writing means how essays and masterpieces are constructed by not forgetting those things or nuances that make such essays philosophical. It is a kind of enterprise that adequately makes use of what are called tools of philosophical writing, and these tools are discussed in the next study session. Tools such as the use of second-order language, deep thinking, criticism on raising of probing questions that will lead to elimination of dogmatism in one's thinking and acting, logical reasoning, analysis, synthesis, and so on. There are some of the things we need to know in order to improve our ability for writing and evaluating arguments in everyday life and enhance our capacity for straight thinking. But knowing these techniques or principles is not enough. It is also crucial that we strive to apply them in our daily argumentation, writing, and in the evaluation of the views of others and the articulation of our own. As philosophy is a discipline that focuses on man, his nature, origin, culture, language, traditions, and on knowledge, the phenomenon of mysteries, religion, and the wholesome earth, is it possible, therefore, to have a stereotyped or technical method of investigating all that are listed here? Quite unlike the sciences and the social sciences, it may not be possible to use qualificational or mathematical methods of investigation and documentation where questions are involved and are paramount. In philosophical writing, you have to choose those vocabularies that are most appropriate. You must satisfy yourself about the quality, how to decide what to write upon, and what tool to use. By doing this, you will have a clear framework for your work, and in a way, this will encourage such skills as fact gathering, evidence evaluation, argument and presentation, which will prove worthy of philosophical work. Here, therefore, we are talking of how to build arguments, how to engage in critical thinking vis-a-vis critical reasoning. You would want to ask yourself why writing is so important as to require special concentration like this. To answer your inquiry matter-of-factly, not putting down your thoughts and ideas does not detract from their intrinsic quality. However, it is important to get it down in black and white because the beautiful thoughts and ideas in our hands and minds can be compared to a blooming flower that can swiftly wither and fade. Words that are written down acquire a life of their own more than the life we give them by our acts of thinking. Do not get it wrong. Philosophical writing is not as difficult as it may seem theoretically. Part of what you need is to just take the plunge to put your ideas on paper. There is no mistake about it. As a matter of fact, attempt to write the way you would naturally speak. If you can argue with someone, then it will not require too great an effort to argue with yourself. Start by choosing a topic where you can argue in support or against, that is, back and forth, or rather a subject where you find that both sides of an argument seem to have a case. Having gotten a topic or subject, then give a voice to each of your conflicting viewpoints. For example, if you are to write on a topic titled, "Do you agree that a university education is more advantageous than a polytechnic education?" Discuss. For a topic like this, there are tenable arguments in support of whatever position you take. All you need to do is to structure your argument very well, and you are already on your way writing a good philosophical paper. Forms of philosophical writing. Philosophical writing has taken many forms. Dialogue is an example of a type of form. This writing form can be found in the works of Plato, Bishop Berkeley, and David Hume. Another form is drama, which is inherent in the works by Albert Camus, Jean-Paul Sartre, and George Eliot, and so on. The last is the easy, which is the form in which you are most likely to be asked to write. It is also the easiest form to write, and it is currently the standard form for professional philosophers. Another thing you should bear in mind while writing a philosophical work is to be sure of what you want to achieve, that is, your objective. This gives your work focus and direction. Know that there is usually a single thing that every essay in philosophy set out to do. You may want to write an essay in philosophy to persuade the reader to accept your view on something, or to accept or reject certain views. If not this, the essay can be a way of clarifying your own idea about a theory or problem. It could also be a means of exploring the logical consequences of a theory as a preliminary to examining whether the theory itself is tenable. In addition, an essay or a write-up in philosophy may take the form of a survey of different attempts to solve a problem. It can be to contrast the strengths and weaknesses of two or more theories. It is important to note that a philosophical essay may be a combination of these and even more. A unifying element in all these examples is argument. You will be making a case. You are not to assume that your reader holds the same views as you. By not making this assumption, therefore, you have to argue each of your points and positions rigorously. Else, you may risk your paper being labeled as having untargeted assumption. Study session summary. In this study session, we discussed the form of nature of philosophical writing. We noted that the language in writing philosophy should be simple and clear, and also the act of thinking and adducing argument should be emphasized. All of these factors are to be taken into consideration while writing a philosophical piece. Knowledge of these without application will not make your paper philosophical. We have come to the end of study session 4. Thanks for listening.